3 TDs, including this one. Bucks lead 34-31. Extra point attempt. Not Automatica. Grammatica incorrect. Martin misses it, and it stays a 3-point game. Under 6 to go, Green. Going for it all, just overthrows. And Phillips is there, and Tom got hit on the play.
Yeah, pressure by Derek Brooks right there. Off throw, threw it too far inside. Ball intercepted.
And then Green, as they had a 3rd down, and then the Bucks thought they had it on a turnover. There was an appeal. The Chiefs had one last play on 4th and 17, but the Buccaneers go on to win the game, despite the fact that Tim Brown, a few weeks ago we saw Jerry Rice's streak snap. Tim Brown, the 3rd longest streak in the history of football with consecutive receptions with 179. That now comes to a close, but Tampa Bay, they won, they had a bye, and they won. As far as the Kansas City Chiefs getting back to 500, it's not going to happen because track meets, you're not going to win them all. I don't even care if you're Carl Lewis.
Yeah, same problem that this team had at the end of last year in the playoffs. We see it again as it rises its ugly head here at the midseason point. And then Tampa Bay, they get a 300-yard game passing, or just 4 yards short of 300 from Brian Greasy. You get great balance from Michael Pittman when the running game. And I think those are the things that are going to bode well for teams as they go down the stretch. We're getting now to the November, December part of the schedule. Teams that can run the football are going to have success. Teams that can play solid defense are going to have success. You get into track meets, as you said, you are not going to win them all.
Well, remember now, Kansas City gave up 23 yards a minute last week to the Colts, although they won. So they got better this time. They're 16 yards a minute by the Bucks, but it was not good enough to win it. And maybe Tampa's got something with Brian Greasy playing mistake-free football. When we return, well, we got plenty to come. The Patriots and the Rams. Could the Patriots get back to their winning ways? And would the Steelers fell another undefeated team in Pittsburgh? Eagles-Steelers coming up later.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Grab yourself a great-tasting low-carb Miller Lite. And in part by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. And Nexium. Talk to your doctor about prescription Nexium. Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
Well, what do you want here? A team that hasn't won 17 in a row on the road and has not beaten the Miami Dolphins ever, or Miami has only won 1 and was embarrassed on Monday night. Well, look at this, before the game.
What do you fight over?
I don't know. It's too hot. It's hot. Arizona and Miami doing some scrapping. Jay Fiedler taken down by James Darling. He would leave the game with a shoulder stinger. Now, we know Jay looked just not very good on Monday night, and he's made some turnovers, a lot, but A.J. Feely ended up making more. Josh, Tears of McCown. Pass intercepted. Sammy Knight. It starts running it back, roughing the passer. The first of several times that Miami made a good play and then put themselves back in a hole.
Yeah, and a questionable call on roughing the passer. You got to let the quarterback play football, too.
That's what happens when you win one game, Tom. It seems it goes this way. McCown hands off to Emmett for a 5-yard touchdown, 17-12, Arizona. Arizona leading on the road. Now it's 17-15, Feely. To Marty Booker. This is an impressive play. Boom! Down to the 1 line. Booker in pain leaves the game. That was a good throw, Feely. Some of his throws were interesting, to say the least. And now, 1st and goal, Shammy, how I love you, Morris, into the end zone. Dolphins go for 2, get it, 23-17. Tears of McCown. Big play running on 4th and 8. Gets the first down with 1:20 to go. Then McCown to number 11, Larry Fitzgerald.
Working out of the slot against triple coverage, and as he's starting to get healthy, we're starting to see the fantastic receiver that he is. But how can 3 guys not get that ball knocked down?
Let him deep, and then after 3rd down, no, they get a penalty, and they get more chances, and McCown to Fitzgerald for the touchdown. How Dave wants that has seen it all. They stopped him on 3rd down. It was a defensive hold. We didn't show it to you, but then it gave them another series of downs with 25 seconds to go. Then you saw the touchdown, and so Arizona, they win for the first time after 17 straight losses. They beat Miami for the first time. And congratulations, Dennis Green, 100th career coaching victory. Congratulations.
Yeah, Coach Green, his 100th win. And Jay Fiedler, they were leading 12-3 when he left the football game.
Now the Raiders and the Panthers, the two teams that were in the last two Super Bowls as losers, but this time nobody expected them to have this sort of record. Raiders have won 2, the Panthers have won 1. It's Kerry Collins back in Carolina, where he led them once upon a time to a championship game, and he hands to Tyrone Wheatley, and it's 10-0. Warren Sapp was in the game, and then you see him again. He's eligible. Decoyed this time, and Wheatley with another touchdown, 17-7.
Yeah, take a look at guard Brad Badger and center Adam True, and just watch them as they move the pile. Wheatley comes in right behind him. Good, strong power runner, good short yardage runner. Gets the score for him.
All right, now 24-17. It's Oakland. 3-and-out Raiders here. Daylight coming. You got it, Delhomme. Stephen Davis couldn't go. They got no running backs. This is Nick Goings for 23. Ricky Prohl, who can make the big catch. 34 yards and first and goal from the 3. Daylight come. And how's it going? It's going to be a comeback. We're tied at 24. Minute 24 to play. Oakland, the Oakland Raiders. Collins, Doug Gabriel, flag on the play, so Gabriel's horn blown. And pass interference on Dante Wesley. At the end, it's a bang, a chip shot for Sebastian Janikowski, and the Raiders win it 27-24, snapping the 5-game losing streak going into their bye. Carolina, Super Bowl a year ago, Tom, lost 6 in a row. They are 1-7.
Yeah, I think for the Carolina Panthers, going to be a pretty good team as we started the season. We're at mid-season now. We make this comment. Certainly, this is a team that suffered so many injuries that they just are not the same team we saw in the Super Bowl.
And the Raiders were 0-13 on the road, and they win a game. Now, the Redskins and the Lions. You have a team, the Redskins, that have the least points scored in the NFL. The Lions with the least yards per game in the NFL. So you talk about immovable objects. Here they come. But Detroit, hoping to win for the 5th time this year. That would equal last year's total. Joey Harrington. But everybody that wears 11. You saw Larry Fitzgerald. And that's Roy Williams back. Remember, he missed a couple of games.
Yeah, and look at Roy Williams go up and snag that ball and never touch it with his left hand.
Now, when you're not playing good football, and neither of these two, as Washington has not, where do you look for an advantage? Well, Detroit's had it much of the year on special teams, but it was Washington's day. Tom, Tupelo Honey punts it. James Thrash downs it at the 1. So with an offense that can't get out of its own way, not likely to go 99 yards. Tupa punting again. Watch this. This is the unseen part of football, and you're trying to change things around. You do plays like that. And so again, down at the 3-yard line, that's Thrash again in a 3-3 game at the half. Then, 3rd quarter, Clinton Portis. We know he can run. Portis, right tackle, then cuts 21 yards to the Lions, 147 yards in the game on 34 carries. First 100-yard rusher against Detroit this year. Then, wait a minute. No one said about passing. Portis to Lavernius Coles. Touchdown, 10-3. Redskins. That's how the lowest scoring team in football scores a touchdown. Now watch this, Tom. More special teams. How many guys? Do you think 5 guys are going to block that punt? Taylor Jacobs did it. Walt Harris, touchdown. Skins, special teams. They lead 17-3. And then, in case you think it's a mirage, 1 is an accident, 2 is a trend, 3 is evidence. This is James Thrash again. And Tupa punted. That's great. You know,
and a well-coached football team, because they don't understand, don't step in on the end line, don't step in the end zone, knock the ball out, let's pin them inside the 5.
I mean, you know, in a game about teams that don't have, you know, offensively a lot going, the Skins made the difference on special teams, and they win it. For Joe Gibbs, 17-10, their 3rd win of the year. Detroit all of a sudden came with at home. They're 1-3, 3-1 on the road. They're at 4-4. When we return, the Patriots, nobody in the lineup healthy for them. How would they beat the Rams? Well, we're going to show you. And Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger. Can they do it again? Can they do it again? Can they take it easy on some of these teams, please?
As the NFL on ESPN roars into Week 9. Rivalries don't get any more intense for fans from Cleveland and Baltimore than when these two teams face each other, and this one should be a fierce game. Browns, Ravens, live tonight. Then get ready for some fireworks when two of the game's elite quarterbacks meet in Indianapolis. After last week's stunning losses, there will be no holds barred for these great offensive teams. Browns, Ravens, live tonight. Vikings, Colts, live Monday on ESPN.
The classic teams, the classic moments, the classic rivalries. Join us as we relive the most historically renowned matches in the history of the game. The history of cricket continues with the classic matches. Wednesday on ESPN.
Who will prevail in the African Champions League semi-finals, and will it be an all-Tunisian final? Join Tommy Smith, Janusz Mihalik and me for the next edition of ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass on Friday, right here on ESPN.
No equipment needed. Only your hands and your heart. And according to the outcome, you will live 3 minutes of hell. Or 3 minutes of glory. Friday Night Fights on ESPN.
Chevrolet Fantasy Ticker is brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American Revolution.
Cowboys at the Bengals. Provisional football in Ohio, Tom. On Monday, the Bengals look good. Sunday, they don't. Hey, provisional's only on a tee shot. When you hit it like you think in the lake, you're not sure. At any rate, Chad Johnson pumped up. Now it's Vinny Testaverde to Keyshawn. Stripped by Torrey James. Brian Simmons has the ball. Leads to a field goal. Shane Graham at 3 early field goals. 9-0 Bengals. Then Testaverde to Keyshawn. Torrey James again. How about that? Nice position all the way. And he bummed, and the Cowboys had 3 turnovers in the first half. Now, 3rd and 6 from the 24. Carson Palmer to Matt Schobel. Good defense. He could go all the way. Princeton over Yale. No, that's right there. The Bengals, 16-3.
When Carson Palmer gets the time to throw, he throws an excellent deep ball. But look at the battle that's going to go on here. Chad Johnson and Lance Frazier, and all of that contact, all that roughing each other up, no call. I like that by the official. There was no call to make.
Johnson leaves the game in the 3rd quarter. Then Carson Palmer, Chad Johnson, 18 yards. He's spiking it there. Palmer to Chad Johnson. Well, you know, he wants the... Calm down here. You're ahead 26-3. And Marvin will win that one. And I hope he's got a good relationship with Chad Johnson, but there's no need for that. The Bengals slice and dice Bill Parcells' Dallas Cowboys, 26-3. And Tom, in this game, the Cowboys have lost 4 or 5. Vinny picked off 3 times, fumbled 1, sacked 1.
And that's the thing that Coach Parcells will eventually do something about. He's not going to lose games turning the football over.
When we return, Donovan McNabb, the 7-0 Eagles, the last undefeated team. Certainly Pittsburgh couldn't do it 2 in a row, could they? They couldn't keep the ball for over 40 minutes, could they? And the Patriots, undermanned against the Rams, they couldn't go on the road and win, could they? We'll be back.
Fly ball deep drive to left field, and it's gone right now. Out of here. Home run, Manny Ramirez. He was due, and he got one. Swinging a drive right field. Backing up Walker. Turning around. It's into the bullpen, and the Sox have done it again. But Ortiz came up big last night. Rips that one to right field down the line for extra bases. Ramirez touches second on his way to 3rd. Ortiz heading to second base. Manny pulls up to 3rd and stops there. He's swinging. High fly ball right center field. Very deep. It's sailing. It's off the wall. He swung on 3-0. He drives in 2. Ground ball back to the mound. Falk with it. Got him at first base. They are champions of the world.
The hits just keep coming as the NFL on ESPN roars into Week 9. Rivalries don't get any more intense for fans from Cleveland and Baltimore than when these two teams face each other, and this one should be a fierce game. Browns, Ravens, live tonight. Then get ready for some fireworks when two of the game's elite quarterbacks meet in Indianapolis. After last week's stunning losses, there will be no holds barred for these great offensive teams. Browns, Ravens, live tonight. Vikings, Colts, live Monday on ESPN.
The classic teams, the classic moments, the classic rivalries. Join us as we relive the most historically renowned matches in the history of the game. The history of cricket continues with the classic matches. Wednesday on ESPN.
Each week, ESPN has your ticket for the best in sports. Mondays, fulfill your need for speed as we bring you the best in two-wheel, open-wheel, and off-road racing. Thursdays are action sports days with the wildest moments of X Games and beyond. And remember, ESPN is always your home for the great outdoors with hunting, lumberjacking, and some of the biggest fish you've ever seen. The best in sports each week, only on ESPN.
Prime time. On prime time, Deion Sanders, Ravens, divisional game against the Cleveland Browns, who beat him week 1. Can the Ravens win on Sunday Night Football at the bottom of the hour from Baltimore? In week 3, the Seattle Seahawks whitewashed the San Francisco 49ers. First time anybody did that to the Niners since 1977. And how about Jerry Rice back at Candlestick Park? This time as a Seahawk. He played once as a visitor for the Raiders. Meanwhile, Derek Smith, Anthony Adams, the Niners game in this game, sacking Matt Hasselbeck. John Engelberger bringing the heat a little bit. Great position for the Niners, and Tim Rattay and company respond. And Kevin Barlow is a tough runner. San Francisco. Could they pull an upset? They lead the Seahawks 7-0. Tied at 14 now. Hasselbeck, Jerry Rice, and a nice you know what? Way to go. Nice ovation from the crowd. I think you feel comfortable with those strange dressing in the visitors' locker room in that stadium. Then Sean Alexander doing what he does best into the end zone. 4-yard run, 21-14 Seahawks. Tim Rattay. Niners have a field goal. It's 21-17 third quarter. And how about this play by Rattay to Brandon Lloyd? And the Niners lead the Seahawks early third, 24-21. But Matt Hasselbeck sees the blitz. The Niners try to back off. Now he checks off. Look at that. Okay, a lot of time to check off. Seeing the blitz, you go here. We got a seal here. We got a seal here. And then this is up the middle for the touchdown. Hasselbeck sees it to Corin Robinson, 25 yards, 28-24 the Seahawks. Then it's Darrell Jackson. Nice. But they make those plays. 39 yards, 35-24 Seahawks. Seattle adds another touchdown. They win at 42-27. 3 TD passes. Matt Hasselbeck, 160 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns. Sean Alexander. They can sit on teams that aren't quite as good as them.
Well, Corin Robinson, Sean Alexander, Hasselbeck, we know the offensive weapons when they're catching the ball, and I think it's all key when Sean Alexander begins to run the ball the way he was running today. And you can almost tell from the moment the game starts, then the rest of the offense is going to have a pretty good day.
And the Seahawks go into St. Louis next. It's the worst schedule in football. They have 4 2-game road trips, but they're 3-2 on the road at this point. Well, speaking of on the road, at home, the Philadelphia Eagles have won anywhere. They are 7-0, the first time in team history, the last undefeated team in the National Football League. Here we hit November. Last week, New England undefeated went into Pittsburgh with rookie quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. The Steelers played giant killers. Certainly 2 weeks in a row in Pittsburgh. Could they play Jack in the Beanstalk again? Could they be the Jack to cut down the big Beanstalk? Well, is this a guy that, oh, I'm playing another undefeated team. Oh, well, Deuce Staley's out, so how are they going to run? I mean, there's no way Jerome Bettis is going to take the ball. Well, then maybe sometimes he will. 16 yards. I mean, Bettis has been used inside the 5, Tom. There's no, you know what, maybe there is a way, huh?
Well, you and I said this morning, could he gear up for one game? I think the answer is clearly yes.
And how about Ben Roethlisberger? Big guy, and he's a little faster than everybody thinks, isn't he? 16-yard scramble, first down on 3rd and 13. Next play, end around, Hines Ward. Ward, pass to Douglas, into the end zone, touchdown, and then the flap. Oh, it's the bird. And it's 7-0 Pittsburgh. 3-and-out Philly. Again, 3rd and 13, Roethlisberger. How about this? To Veron Haynes, 18 yards. Poised.
Eyes up, down the field, and knows where the exit doors are.
3rd and 4, Roethlisberger to Ward, touchdown. So Roethlisberger to Hines Ward in Heinz Field. And now he's kind of having fun with the T.O., imitating Ray Lewis, imitating, but they're all doing the flop. And Hines Ward and the Steeler T.O. at least gave it the smile. 14-0 Pittsburgh. They were not done. A beautifully executed screen. The blockers in front. Roethlisberger, the dump to Haynes. 26-yard pickup. It's the prettiest play in football.
Yeah, and the timing of it was perfect, Boom.
And then rolling right, Roethlisberger to Reamersma. Say that 5 times fast. It wins in Scrabble, and it wins on the field. How do you get open?
Yeah, look at Reamersma. These guys are learning. Find an open spot. His eyes are up. He's going to find you. Just give him a place to throw the football.
Meanwhile, as McNabb kind of stunned, he and Terrell Owens, who had been so good so far, 42 hookups the first 7 games, not to mention 9 touchdowns. The slant didn't work. And look at Troy Polamalu in his second year becoming a big-time player.
He's made quite a few big hits for the Steelers already this year, including forcing some turnovers and getting a couple of interceptions.
Now, look, we'll hear later what was said, what wasn't. McNabb just looking for space, and T.O., of course, in face.
You know, I'm not going to guess at what they were talking about, but certainly 2 frustrated football players right about this time of the game.
Steelers first half. Meanwhile, why were the Eagles frustrated? They couldn't get anything going on offense. They only had the ball for, 9.5 minutes in the first half. Steelers had the ball 37 plays for 227 yards. And another day at the office for the young man. Philly, first half, 47 yards. Philadelphia Eagles, first half. Yikes. 21-3 third quarter. Pressure on McNabb. And he's so strong that he tried. Last week it was Joey Porter. This game was James Ferrier. 41-yard return. They get a field goal out of a 24-3. And now it's Philly's turn on 3rd and 13. And McNabb blitzed. Doesn't see the veteran corner, Willie Williams. He's sacked. No dancing, the celebration, all Pittsburgh. As the Pittsburgh Steelers not only beat New England last week impressively, they sit on the Philadelphia Eagles this week 27-3, so 2 unbeatens in 2 weeks. Ben Roethlisberger joins former Steeler 1976 rookie quarterback Mike Kruzak as the only guys to go 6-0 as rookies since the 1970 merger. After the game, we'll start with Philly. What were you guys talking about?
You know, it may have looked bad, but, you know, when you get in a battle like that, you know, obviously you get frustrated. And if it was me, if it was him, if it was a running back, whatever it may be, you get frustrated. And what he was trying to do was obviously calm me down. Although that may not sit with you guys because, you know, you think he's the bad one of the bunch.
Basically, that's just me trying to, you know, fire him up a little bit and, you know, pick his head up. You know, Donovan's obviously a competitor, and I am too. And, you know, it's going to be like that sometimes. Nothing different than when we're in practice.
It means a lot because it's, you know, the next opponent, regardless of what their schedule is, we just want to win football games. And it was important for us to come out here today and play our football game.
Play our football game. Well, these are the 2 games against the undefeated Patriots and Eagles. The points are 61-23. Look at the rushing yards. 473 Pittsburgh, 28 for the Patriots, who had 5, and then the Eagles, who had 23. Total yards, a complete one. Time of possession. 85 minutes. And first, a little aside here, Jerome Bettis.
Oh.
You know what? You're not one of the top 10, top 8, 7 rushers in football of all time and don't have it together to get it, okay, I'm going to get the ball 30-plus times in one game and not be able to do it. So that's just part of it. It's Steeler football, and the 79 team was there to see it.
We both have talked to Bill Cowher, and he tells us I'm going to get back to playing Steeler football, and that means running the ball to protect Ben Roethlisberger and playing highly aggressive defense. They dominated on both sides of the football. We'll begin with the offensive side of the game, and look at this offensive line. Look at them get hats on people, hold those blocks, allow the runner to get to the second level. Even Jerome Bettis might have known that they had to hold those blocks a little bit longer to get Jerome through than Deuce Staley, but they do it. Now the guard, Alan Faneca, going to get the pull here. You get the slide by the fullback. Again, the lead to the 6-hole, hats on hats. Jerome Bettis clearly can see the hole, gets through it. Once he gets through it, he's going to power for the extra yardage. Then on the defensive side of the ball, they came at McNabb from a lot of different places. Last week, it was one linebacker. This week, Joey Porter. This week, James Ferrier. The key with McNabb is getting him down on the ground, and I thought they did the best job of that we've seen this year. They didn't only get to him, a lot of people get to him, but it's getting him down on the ground. Here you see the linebackers cross inside, a little bit of confusion with the offensive line. They forced him to take a lick, errant throw to Terrell Owens. So they dominated on both sides of the football, line of scrimmage, and again, I think the key is right now, I said it this morning, this is the most physical team in the game right now, and I think that's really what Coach Cowher wanted to get back to.
A couple things I want to add here, Tommy. Right, Bettis 149 today and 129 the first 7 games, although he's a touchdown machine. Both teams playing in their division now. At Cleveland, at Cincinnati, coming up for Pittsburgh. And then Philly plays all 3. They play at Dallas, they play Washington, and at the Giants. So we'll see the way that comes out. And another classy move by the Steelers. 2.5 minutes to go inside the 10. They're kneeling down, not piling it on. Very classy.
That's right.
And now, let's see. New England lost last week. Philly lost this week. You can feel the 72 Dolphins, Tom. You can feel the Uncourt.
It's over.
Pain boys.
It's over.
Schuler and Reese and Zonka and Kick and Warfield. And
it's over.
Larry Little and Bonacani, and they're still the only undefeated, untied regular season team. Meanwhile, the Bears and the Giants in New York. The Giants certainly aren't going to have a letdown because 2 weeks ago against Detroit, Central Division team, they didn't look good. And so against the Bears, Kurt Warner to Ike Hilliard, but wait a minute now, they fumble. Giants were plus 12, tied for the best in the league in football coming in, Tom, with turnovers. Jerry Azuma seems to be around the ball a lot.
Yeah, and just take a look at the play. You can see clearly the ball was out before the knees were down.
And so then Anthony Thomas runs the A-train into the end zone after a 14-0 Giants lead. The Bears have tied it and then take a 20-14 lead at the half. Thomas gets the pitch, short gain on the play, pectoral muscle strain. Michael Strahan, he's out. Ball, it's still 20-14 Bears, and remember, this is only the second start for Craig Krenzel, but if you're going to get running this from the shotgun to the A-train, look at the stiff arm. Man, that's old-time running, 41-yard touchdown. The Bears make the 2-point conversion, 28-14. Warner, play fake, Shockey, touchdown, 28-21. Onside kick. Giants. They get the ball. And so they're not done. But the Bears have held them a couple of times, and now it's 4th and 20. Warner, flush left. Buys time looking for Shockey. Is there a miracle? No. The Bears scored 28 unanswered points. And to beat the Giants, 28-21, the molecular genetics major at Ohio State, Craig Krenzel. Obviously, smart. You know, I put together a couple of chemicals and bio, and they won the game. And in this game, the New York Football Giants had Warner was picked off twice. They fumbled it 3 times, 2 by Warner. He was sacked 7 times. Is the bloom off the rose? We don't know, but a couple of games, he fumbled a lot last week, but didn't lose them.
Yeah,
this time they fumbled
and it's the thing really that Coach has focused on more than anything. Coach Coughlin talks about protecting the football. They didn't do that today. They lost to the Bears, and I love the way, again, good coaches, these young quarterbacks, protect them with the running game. Today, Krensel had the A train on his back.
And you know what? Once again, Lovie Smith's defense keeps it to where they have a chance at the game. Then the Jets, wow, they look so good on Monday night, but divisional game at Buffalo and San Diego. Drew Brees, he's more like a hurricane. Who would next be in his way? It would be the Saints.
Inside the Numbers. Brought to you by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.